The University of Denver is a highly resourced information environment with over 800 electronic databases available through the University Library's website. This video will introduce you to the techniques of searching in the library databases. With so many databases available, it's impossible to examine all of them, so we will look at a small but representative sample. We will look at 3 large interdisciplinary databases: Academic Search Complete, ProQuest Central, and JSTOR. We will gain a sense of how to use these databases and what some of their common features are. We'll also take a look at Google Scholar, an alternative method for searching scholarly database content. Remember that this tutorial is only an introduction to database searching. Many databases have unique features of their own. For free, in-depth, one-on-one instruction on searching databases, contact the Anderson Academic Commons Research Center at 303-871-2905 or by email at research@du.libanswers.com. Access the DU databases by going to the library website at library.du.edu and clicking on Databases. You may look for a database in the A to Z list and narrow your search by using the drop-down menus for database subject and database type. Or, if you know the name of the database you're looking for, you can just type its name into the database search box. I will start by entering the name of a large interdisciplinary database called Academic Search Complete. Click on Academic Search Complete and authenticate with your DU87 number and passcode. When the database opens, we see the name EBSCOhost with a logo. This database is published by a company called EBSCO, and it looks and performs like other EBSCO databases. Academic Search Complete opens to an advanced search interface. Notice that you can search a variety of specific data fields. The default setting searches a combination of these fields, but not the full text of documents. Note also that the Advanced Search Interface offers you a number of choices of search modes and search limiting options. Most of these are also available after you execute a search. Let's begin with a default search on the name Mozart. After executing our search, we get a summary list of more than 9,500 data matches, a list of search results. Let's look at them in detail. The first match in the list is an article called Facing the Fermata. We click on the linked title of the journal article, and it takes us to a full record for the article with information like author, article title, journal title, issue date and number, and pagination. It also includes an abstract, which is a kind of a summary of the article. Note that the author's name is a hyperlink. If we click on it, it takes us to a list of articles by this author. This author has only one article in this database. However, if we go to the third match in our list, Neurosurgery and Music, click on the first author's name, we see that this author has several articles in this database. Going back to our first article, Facing the Fermata, note that the journal title is also a hyperlink. Clicking on this link will take us to a page for the journal Flutist Quarterly, where we can browse to a particular issue and examine the articles in that issue, Summer 2011, for instance. Returning to our article in Flutist Quarterly, we next notice the list of subject terms. The first one is cadenzas. These are index terms supplied by the database publisher and are standard throughout the content of this particular database. A good academic database has a well-developed list of these terms, which you can examine if you want to. In Academic Search Complete, the subject terms list is available at the top of the page. We can search this list for the subject term cadenzas. And examine its relationships with broader terms such as embellishment and narrower terms such as concerto cadenzas. We can also start a new search based on the term cadenzas by checking the box next to it and clicking the button marked Add. This subject descriptor, DE stands for descriptor, has now populated the search box at the top of the page. Executing this search, no surprise, brings us back to our original article as the first match. Back in the record for our article, Facing the Fermata, note that the subject descriptors are hyperlinks as well. We can search on the subject descriptor cadenzas just by clicking on the subject term in the record. If we want to access this article, it's easy. We just clicked on the link that says PDF full text. You can read the article online, or download it to your computer for later. Some databases have full text of articles, and some just have indexing. This one has both. Some articles are available as full text and some are only indexed. The third match in our list, for example, does not have a link to download the full text of the article. However, we have a tool called Article Linker, which uses OpenURL technology to try to find articles like this in one of our other 800 plus databases. If we click on Article Linker, it takes us to an intermediate page with other access options. We choose ScienceDirect, and that link takes us to a page for this article in the database ScienceDirect. This page has the full text of the article and also a link to download the article in PDF format. Here's a tip. If you have a choice, get the article in PDF. That way, if you later reference a passage in the article, you'll have the page numbers for your citation. Going back to the Advanced Search interface in Academic Search Complete, we have a number of tools at our disposal. For instance, I can add the word flute in the second search field and set the operator menu to AND. This will return a list of documents that match both the word Mozart and the word flute. The other operator options are OR and NOT. What they do is probably obvious. I've now trimmed my list of search results from 9,500 down to just over 400. Still a lot of documents, but much closer to a manageable size. There's more I can do, however. I've done a couple of things here that deserve explanation. First, I've enclosed two words in quotation marks. This tells the search interface to look for them as a phrase, not just in any combination of other words. This alone is probably the most powerful search technique you will ever use in any search interface, and it works in most of them, including Google. Second, I've typed a word root, ending it with an asterisk. This tells the interface to to return matches for any word that begins with the letters before the asterisk, such as concerto, concertos, concerti, even concertizing. This is sometimes called a truncation symbol. And I still have Mozart in the first field, so now I'm looking for any combination of Mozart and flute concerto, flute concerti, flute concertos, etc. It's no surprise that my original article showed up in these search results. But look at how much more concise the list is now. Only 44 documents. The search history link opens a list that keeps track of all the searches I've run in this database session. If I want to rerun any of my previous searches, I just click on View Results. I'll click on Search History again, and the list of searches is hidden. On the left side of the page are what we call search limiters or refinements. Near the top is a checkbox for full text results only. I don't recommend you use this, since we already have seen how the article linker tool helps us access documents even if they are not available as full text in this database. Near the full text checkbox is a checkbox for peer-reviewed documents. Peer review is the gold standard in scholarly publishing. Because it is so important in academic research, most research databases will have an easy way like this to search only for peer-reviewed sources. This selector narrows my search from 403 documents to only 56. For a full explanation of peer review, watch the YouTube video, Peer Review in 3 Minutes. The publication date slider is another useful tool, along with the source type collector, 2 different lists of subject terms, and others. Aside from just downloading and saving articles, we have several other options for exporting our research results from Academic Search Complete. In the summary list, there's a folder icon at the right side of each item. Clicking on this icon adds the item to a temporary folder. We can access this folder at the top of the page. It shows the items we saved and gives us export options. One of them is email. Click the email link, enter your email address, make sure the PDF as attachment box is checked, click Send, and look for the email in your inbox. The email includes links to all the articles I saved in my folder, plus the PDFs. Very convenient. If you don't see the email, be sure to check your spam folder. Many email systems recognize these messages as coming from an automated sender and identify them as spam. Items saved in this folder are only saved temporarily for the length of your search session, unless you log into your free individual EBSCOhost account. Now your articles are saved permanently, and they will be there the next time you log in. Logging in also allows you to save searches. I can display my search history, select a search, and click Save Searches and Alerts. Give the search a name, and click the Save button. I can also retrieve previously saved searches and run them again if I want to. These are the most important features of the EBSCO database Academic Search Complete, though there are certainly others to find if you keep exploring. Remember that EBSCO is a large database publisher, and you're likely to run into this interface more than once if you do a fair amount of research. For a music student, you will see it when you use the databases RILM, RIPM, Music Index, and IPM. Now let's examine another large interdisciplinary database, this one published by a company called ProQuest. We'll take a look at ProQuest Central. Access ProQuest Central the same way we did Academic Search Complete, by typing the name of the database under Databases on the library website. Click on ProQuest Central, authenticate with your 87 number and passcode if necessary, and this database opens, like the last one, to an advanced search interface. Like Academic Search Complete, it allows you to search a variety of data fields and allows various choices before executing your search. We'll start by searching for Beethoven. As before, the database returns a list of search results matching our search term. Access articles the same way by clicking on the summary for more information and access to the full text. In this case, the text of the article is available as HTML, and we see our search term highlighted wherever it appears. Remember to use the article linker button if the full text is not available. Some articles may offer a choice of HTML or PDF full text. Remember to choose the PDF if you can, so you have page numbers for your citations. I cannot modify my search the way I did in Academic Search Complete because although ProQuest Central recognized an asterisk as a truncation symbol, it will not do so if it is within quotes. So I will type the words piano concerto in quotes to search for that exact phrase in combination with Beethoven. I can use additional fields and the OR operator to search different versions of the phrase. The saved search history in this database is called Recent Searches. I can select a search to save permanently, and I'll be prompted to sign in to my free individual ProQuest account. I'll be asked to name my search. It'll be saved to a folder of saved searches where I can access it and run it again whenever I want to. I can also select any of my search results and save them to a folder of saved documents. I'm already logged in, so they will be saved permanently. Otherwise, I would be prompted to log in. I can email items to myself from my saved documents. The email will include links to the original items and in some cases the full text. It will not include PDF attachments, however. Remember that the email might go into your spam folder. Search refinements and limiters on the left side are similar to the ones we explored in Academic Search Complete. They include the full text limiter, not recommended, the peer-reviewed limiter, the source type, the publication date slider, the document type, the publication title, the subject heading, and others. ProQuest, like EBSCO, is a large database publisher, and you're likely to encounter this interface often. Music students will encounter it when searching Music Periodicals database, and also if you search ProQuest dissertations and theses. There is always a lot of overlap between the coverage of these large databases, so don't be surprised if you see some of the same material in both. Each will have some material that is unique, however, so it's important to search more than one. Now that we've examined two popular databases, one published by EBSCO and one published by ProQuest, let's take a look at a database called JSTOR. Access JSTOR the same way we accessed other databases, by typing the database name under Databases on the DU Library website. Click on JSTOR and authenticate with your 87 number and your passcode if necessary. JSTOR was one of the first online digital repositories of scholarship and is still one of the biggest. Instead of being published by a commercial vendor, it's organized as a nonprofit enterprise. JSTOR's advanced search interface is similar to the ones we've already seen, but is a little simpler with fewer data fields to search and fewer search options. In particular, JSTOR does not have a selector for peer-reviewed documents only. This is partly because some of the material in JSTOR goes back so far it was published before the modern peer review process became standard. Therefore, a lot of material in JSTOR is scholarly without technically being peer-reviewed. If you have a question about whether a particular source counts as peer-reviewed or not, consult a reference librarian. We'll begin in JSTOR by searching for Vivaldi. JSTOR, like ProQuest Central, will not recognize a truncation symbol within parentheses, so we will again expand our search terms with multiple lines. Downloading an article from JSTOR is very straightforward. You may also save items from JSTOR to a free JSTOR account. There is no email export from JSTOR, nor can you save particular searches for later use. Search refinements in JSTOR are fairly standard: content type, publication date, and subject headings. The great strength of JSTOR lies in its reach into the past. It's an important source of scholarship, especially in the arts and humanities, along with newer databases like those from EBSCO and ProQuest. The last stop on this database tour will be Google Scholar. Google Scholar does not provide direct access to documents the way a full-text database does. Instead, it uses Google's search technology to index the text and metadata of documents supplied by academic publishers, and then link its search to the collections of institutions like DU, showing when a document is available through one of their subscriptions. You can associate Google Scholar with institutions around the world by editing your own Google settings, but the easiest way to associate it with DU is to access it through this link on the library website. Your search in Google Scholar will return a list of matches that looks pretty much like any Google search. Each of these matches is a citation to a scholarly document like a journal article or a book. There are a limited number of search refinements available on the left. If you see a blue hyperlink out to the right side, it means you have access to the document either through DU's database subscriptions or because it is accessible through an open repository such as a scholar's website. There is a limited advanced search available on the right, and you can save articles to an online folder called My Library, which you access with your Google account. There are two particularly useful links underneath each citation: Cite By and Related Articles. Cited By generates a new list of articles that all cite the particular article you started with, and Related Articles creates a new list of articles determined by Google's algorithms to be related to the particular article that you started with. Remember that Google Scholar does not provide access to documents itself, but indexes them and links to the access you have through DU or some other institution. Searching Google Scholar is neither better nor worse than searching databases directly, but it's an alternative tool you should use in combination with the databases themselves. The University of Denver subscribes to over 800 electronic databases. Well, okay, over 900. We have examined the databases Academic Search Complete, ProQuest Central, and JSTOR, three of the biggest databases out there for academic research. The first two of these use search interfaces you're likely to encounter in other databases, while JSTOR is a unique interface, but we can see that the most important features tend to be found in all three. We've also looked at Google Scholar, an alternative tool for searching our highly resourced information environment. With these tools alone, we have access to a large body of scholarship to support our academic work. With the experience we gain in these databases, we should be able to figure out how to search efficiently in others.